Hi guys, my name is Crystal. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about something that I think is really interesting to talk about, and that is how the menstrual cycle affects your skin. Now this is a really interesting topic for me because I love skincare, but I also know that there are certain things that just don't work for me and my skin during certain phases of my cycle, and that's just because when our hormones fluctuate, so does sebum production on our skin. And because of that, your skincare kind of has to change throughout your cycle. You have to be more on top of things. And one thing that I think is going to become really popular in the next few years is skincare that is synced to your own menstrual cycle. Now I know that sounds kind of crazy, but when you think of it, it makes sense. Like if our skin is drier in one phase of our cycle and then it's more oily in another phase of our cycle, and then, you know, somewhere in between it's really great and it doesn't really need much help, we need products that kind of target those things. And so if I had like investors or more money, I would definitely invest into doing some type of skincare line that was tailored to the different phases of the cycle. I mean, who knows what the future holds, but I think it's an emerging area that is going to become more popular. So to make this video as easy to digest as possible, I'm going to break the menstrual cycle up into different phases. So that's going to be the menstrual phase, the mid-follicular phase, as well as ovulation, because when it comes to skincare, those phases are very similar. And then we will end with the luteal phase. So I just want to make it clear that this video is like an overview of how hormones can affect your skin. I am going to include a few products that I like to use, but by no means do I think that these products are going to be like the holy grail thing that heals your skin. I just don't want any of you guys to watch this video and think that there's something wrong with your skin or that there's something wrong with you because your skin might react a little bit differently. We're all different, but this is just kind of what I've learned and also my experience. So I hope you guys learned something from it. So I will put timestamps in the description of this video so you guys can just hoppity hop to whichever phase you want to learn about, but we're going to start with the menstrual phase. And so of course the menstrual phase is when you have your period. So when you have your period, both of your hormones, estrogen and progesterone, are at their lowest. And so what this usually means is our skin feels a little bit lackluster. It's not as hydrated as it usually is. It might even be really sensitive and you might have blemishes. Now, because your progesterone and your estrogen are very low, your sebum production, which is the oil on your skin, should be low. So it should decrease. Some people do experience breakouts when they have their period, and that can be from sebum production that was very high in the luteal phase. But normally when you have your period, your sebum production should be pretty low. And because your sebum production is low, your skin is probably going to feel a lot drier, and it might even get to the point where it feels kind of dehydrated. And what you want to focus on in your menstrual phase is hydration. You want to make sure that your skin is being hydrated. Now you can do that with like a moisturizer, or what I like to do is I usually like to layer like an oil on top of a moisturizer. Now I know what you're saying, like oil is so bad for your skin. I personally find that oils are really great for my skin. I'm going to show you guys some products which I have found to be really amazing for my skin. I personally really like this product. This is Seriously Soothing Blue Tansy Night Oil. This stuff's amazing. So if you have like dry or dehydrated skin, I love this stuff, and I think it's a great product to use, especially like in your menstrual phase when you just need something that is really soothing and really calming. Because I find when I do have my period, especially the first few days, my skin can be pretty sensitive, and so a lot of products that I might use in other phases, I don't necessarily want to put on my face in the menstrual phase. And what I mean by that is any like actives. So I don't know how much skincare stuff you guys know, but actives are things like a retinol, they're acids, so alpha hydroxy acid or BHAs, a niacinamide. Those are all actives. Even vitamin C is an active. And so when you have your period, sometimes your face might not respond the same way. Some people do find they can continue using their actives all throughout their cycle. I just find for me, my skin is kind of like not that happy. So I just am always really gentle with actives at this time, especially things like retinol. Retinol is extremely drying. So if you have already like pretty dry skin, or your skin seems to be a little bit drier when you have your period, maybe avoid your retinol use and then get back into that when your skin's just more like hydrated and your moisture barrier is a little bit more intact. So the other thing that I really like using, especially when I am using this oil. I like to put this oil on and then I like to put this stuff on. So this is a really great product and these are all vegan and cruelty free, not sponsored. These are actually like legitimately things I use. This is the Ultra Repair Cream from First Aid Beauty. I love this cream. I feel like it is very like hydrating and it's great for sensitive skin, so I will use this like all cycle long, but I feel like it's very useful, especially during my period when my skin is like a lot more drier and a lot more sensitive. So let's move on to mid-follicular phase. So the mid-follicular phase and ovulation is a time when your skin usually feels way more hydrated, it's looking radiant, it's looking plump, it's looking good, like girl, it's looking good, and I definitely find that for myself. This is when I have the best skin. Now, during this phase, because your estrogen is rising, but your progesterone is still very low, your oil production should be low as well. But you should have an increase in hydration and your collagen and hyaluronic acid production in your skin should also be increased as well, which is very exciting. And that is usually why you might feel like your skin is doing its best and looking its best. And it's because these things are all working to help it make it look good. Now, of course, the main concern through these phases is just to like maintain the goodness that you have going. So this is a great time to just continue your normal skincare routine and then maybe add the actives back in. So you have to be the judge of that. During your mid-follicular phase and during ovulation, when your skin is usually at its best, is usually the best time to like test new products just to see how your skin goes with it. The other thing that's really great to do during this phase, because your skin is a little bit more resilient, is any type of treatment. So like facials or like microneedling or that kind of thing. This would be the best time because your skin isn't overly sensitive. So that leaves us with only the luteal phase. So the luteal phase is when things get a little bit funky. So the luteal phase happens after ovulation and then your estrogen drops right off. It just goes bye-bye and then your progesterone takes over. And when you have an increase in progesterone, it can cause an increase in sebum production. So that's why you might notice in your luteal phase leading up to your period, your skin is more greasier and you might be more prone to breakouts. So it kind of depends on when you notice this in your cycle. I definitely notice that my skin starts to get a little finicky about maybe 5 to 7 days before my period starts. So that's not the entire length of the luteal phase. Usually the luteal phase is about 2 weeks long. So I would say that the last week of my luteal phase is usually when my skin gets a little finicky and I start to notice maybe some blemishes or just some congestion. And then that is when I take like more proactive steps. So the things that I focus on, and I think a really great thing to focus on during the luteal phase, is just kind of more like acne control and just making sure that you're cleansing regularly, that you have a really good cleanser that's very gentle, that's not like stripping away all of your oils, that you're very careful with like how much exfoliating you do because too much exfoliating can make things worse. But also just being conscious of any actives that you're using. Now, actives can be really helpful with acne control, but it kind of just depends on which ones you're using. So I find that the actives that work really well for me, and I'm gonna grab a product right now, is this product by The Ordinary. And I might be saying this wrong, but it's niacinamide 10% plus zinc 1%. So this is really, really great because zinc actually can help reduce the sebum production on your skin and not to get any like junk or like sweat or anything gnarly in there. But I find that this is really gentle and works really well for my skin. And then of course, masks can be really helpful as well. So depending on what kind of masks you're using, they can help with reducing oil as well. And so I wouldn't necessarily do masks every night or every day in your luteal phase. That would be way too much because again, oil is good for our face, but the overproduction can cause some mild acne. So just using masks, you know, every few days, if that is something that you're called to do and you find good benefit from that, that can also be something that you include. But usually in your luteal phase, your skin just starts to get a little bit more annoyed and a little bit more sensitive. So again, making sure that you have products that are really, really gentle is so important. I just wanted to talk about this because I think it's so important to understand how our hormones do affect our skin. No one has perfect skin. I know it's really easy for us to look online and think, oh my God, their skin is so perfect. It's just not the case, you know? Like you're looking at everyone's highlight reel. Like it's normal to get a pimple here and there. Like it happens. It happens to me. Like it happens to everyone. And so just being as kind to yourself as possible is really important. And then of course, just like not picking at your face is also really important. So I really appreciate you guys watching this video and let me know what you think in the comments below. I love to hear from you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!